And now, from the Downtown Broadcast Center, it's Fox 28, First and
10. You are looking at the newest thing sweeping the internet. It is called Rickrolling. It's where somebody plays the 80s hit Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley, and they do this in public places. One of the incidents happening here in Eastern Washington, or at least that's what we're supposed to believe. Fox reporter Anthony Gomez has more on two students who rolled one prank into two. Hey, Anthony.
Hey, Bill. We first talked to these students last week, and more on that in just a minute. But first, if you've seen the movie Animal House, you probably remember a time back in 1978 when pranks involved the dean or going to a sorority house. But fast forward 30 years to today, pranks now more and more involving the internet, thanks to this site, YouTube. We found some students at Eastern Washington who posted an apparent prank and convinced a major newspaper that it was news fit to print. Problem is, prank didn't happen as planned. Posted on YouTube for anyone to see, an apparent prank of EWU students interrupting a timeout of a women's basketball game. The students sing and dance in the stands doing an impression of singer Rick Astley during the 1980s. Prank called Rickrolling. We interviewed the self-proclaimed producer of this prank. His name, PawLy P. We asked him some pretty basic questions like, how'd you pull this off? Where'd you get the idea? Take a look at some of his answers.
I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Not right now, you know. I can't even remember when I started, you know what I mean?
We didn't have any idea what PawLy meant. And apparently, neither did anyone else.
When somebody called me last week from the newsroom, that was the first I'd heard of it.
That's the women's basketball coach who says she can't remember any games this year being interrupted by a Rick Astley impersonator. Neither does the EWU Police Department. There is a shot of an officer watching as cheerleaders seemingly dance to the song, but authorities told us they can't remember the event and said they would have known if the PA system was hijacked, unable to confirm the most basic details like whether this prank actually happened. We chalked the post up to creative editing last week and decided not to run the story. Then we saw this. Today's New York Times, page C4, the 80s video that pops up online and off. The reporter describes how a routine timeout turned into a 1980s flashback, how many older spectators looked by turns puzzled or irritated, but the under 30 fans danced and sang. But did they actually dance to the song? We went back to PawLy P. Did you prank the New York Times?
You could say that, yeah, you could say that.
An aspiring film student at EWU, PawLy P, says the video was shot over several games and now says that he didn't interrupt any of them. Do you regret making it look like it happened?
Oh, not at all. Actually, I think it's great that I was able to put it together and make it look like it's real, you know? It's movie magic. I'm a film major, baby. Movie magic.
And PawLy says that he never meant to prank the Times, says that the paper called him. Well, I talked to the New York Times reporter about an hour ago. She described her mood as a little irritated. She said she confirmed the prank with the athletic department spokesman, and the only thing we can figure out is that Rick Astley impersonator actually works in the athletic department, so we don't know if there was some sort of inside job right there. But again, the woman who reports for the New York Times says she's irritated tonight. Bill?
Anthony, I don't get the whole idea of Rick. So what? Why is this guy? Did he come up with this? I don't know. I just don't get it.
Bill, it's part of the internet age that we live in. Rickrolling actually started online. You would click on a link that meant to take you to something else. You'd think you'd be going to one site and you'd come up to this Rick Astley song. Here, PawLy P decided he wanted to take the next step and actually hijack an event, which we now know he didn't hijack, but he's hoping that some people will.
Thanks, Anthony, although I think that young man's 15 minutes of fame are just about up.
Fuck Fox News, I don't listen to y'all ass. Couldn't get a nigga off the roof in a storm pad.